Hey there, my friend. If summer already has you feeling a little bit anxious, thinking about swimsuits, shorts, and pool parties that you'd rather skip, I want to invite you to my free workshop, How to Lose Weight in Perimenopause and Finally Fit into Your Summer Clothes with Confidence. Inside, I will walk you through why eat less and move more, it just stops working in midlife, why discipline is actually backfiring on you, and I'll share the secret on the real reason that your body is holding on to stubborn weight. This workshop is your jumpstart before summer so that you can stop dreading the season and actually enjoy every minute of it. The workshop is on May 12th on Zoom and spots are filling up. So head to the link in the show notes, grab your free spot. I can't wait to see you there. I'm Ashley Malik, and I help midlife moms to feel amazing using nutrition and mindset strategies that give you the healthy, happy, and confident life you've been striving for. After losing 65 pounds in perimenopause, tackling gut health issues, and surviving breast cancer, I've learned that health and wellness is so much more than just gathering information. Learning to rewire your brain and your thoughts lets you take all that valuable information and put it into action so that you actually get results. Here, you'll get strategies for eating healthy food without feeling deprived, systems for making nutrition work for you and your family, and steps to rewire your brain so that you never have to rely on motivation again. If you're ready to be healthy, have more energy, and thrive in midlife, you're in the right place. This is the Family Fork Podcast. There you are, standing in a fitting room, and the fluorescent lights, they are doing you no favors. There's a pile of like 20 rejected swimsuits on the bench right next to you, and the one you're currently wearing, well, it's like a tiny triangle bikini top, and your boobs are sagging in it, and at the bottom, it has your butt cheeks just hanging halfway out. Not to mention, your stomach is folding over the front of the swimsuit. You look at yourself in that mirror, and the first thought that comes flying in is, oh my God, there's no way I can wear this out in public. No way. And then it shifts because right behind that first thought comes the disappointment. And right behind that comes anger. How does this happen the same way every single year? I knew summer was coming. I've known it for months. I knew I wanted to lose weight. I knew I wanted to feel comfortable at the pool. And yet here we are, a couple of weeks out. I'm standing in this dressing room in this horrible swimsuit, feeling completely defeated. So you walk out of that store, and the conclusion that you come to is that these swimsuits, they're made for only two kinds of women, tiny teenagers or older women who have just already let themselves go. And neither of those feels like that is you. You see yourself as someone who is still young, vibrant, who still wants to feel confident at the pool. But when you look at yourself in that swimsuit, all of your confidence is crushed. My friend, welcome back to the Family Fork. I am so glad you're here today because we are going to talk about something that honestly, I've kind of skirted around for a really long time on this podcast. And that is the very real, very specific feeling of wanting to feel good in a swimsuit this summer. Now, I've avoided this topic because there's a lot of conversation out there about body positivity, about being comfortable in your own skin exactly as you are. And I love that conversation. And I do think it's important to feel really good about who you are today. But what I see in my own life and what I see with the women that I work with inside the method, they actually want both. My students and I want to feel good about the body that we have right now. And maybe you're right there with us. I see you. You also want to feel genuinely confident at the pool, on vacation, at the lake, wherever. And you want to be able to walk around without a towel constantly around your waist or a cover up that goes from your neck to your knees. I want to be proud of the body that I have today. But I also don't want to feel ashamed about working toward a better, stronger version of my physical self. I want to look good in a swimsuit. And I really want people to say, "Ooh, she looks so fit and so strong." And I don't want to hide this fact anymore, just for the sake of being neutral to my audience. So if this is not what you're looking for, this episode, it just might not be the one for you, and that's okay. But if you're sitting there and you're nodding along thinking, yeah, I totally want that. I want to feel confident in a swimsuit this summer, but I also feel like it's way too late to do anything about it. I need you to stay with me because this episode is for you. Because what I just described in that fitting room, that's me almost every single year. And I'm guessing that you can relate to that. This is something that my students have been bringing into our coaching calls inside the method. And I've been coaching them through it in real time, almost word for word. Here's what comes up. I've let myself go. It's way too late for me this summer. There is no way I can pull it together in time. And mind you, these women, they're not women who are sitting around doing nothing. They are already doing the work inside the program. They're showing up. But that thought, that it's too late thought, it still creeps in for them the same way that it creeps in for me and the same way that it probably comes in for you. So if you have ever felt it, just know that you're in good company. So here's what I want to do today. I want to talk about why your brain keeps landing in the exact same place every year. And I want to give you the actual tangible way out because guess what? There is one. Now, I want to clear the air about something. I cannot convince you that it's not too late. If I just sit here and tell you, oh, my sweet friend, it is not too late, you wouldn't believe me. You'd push back and say, "Ugh, but Ashley, you don't get it. Summer is just a couple of weeks away. I have a vacation booked. I have a girls' trip right around the corner. There is no time left to lose weight and feel confident in my swimsuit." So the reason you believe it's too late with so much certainty is not because it's actually true. It's because your nervous system is kind of running the show. So let me walk you through exactly what that looks like. Whether you're standing in that fitting room I just described, or you're laying in bed at night thinking about your vacation that's coming up and you're going to have to wear a swimsuit, you have a stream of thoughts that goes something like this. I am too heavy to wear a swimsuit. I'm too fat for the pool. Everyone at the pool, the lake, on the cruise, they're totally going to judge me and look at my body. I guess I'll just have to wear a cover up and I'll just keep it on the entire time. Does any of this sound familiar? Now, here's what happens. When you have those thoughts in your body, it triggers real big feelings. So maybe what comes next for you is disappointment. Like, oh my God, I am repeating the exact same cycle every single year. Why can't I figure this out? Why can't I just get myself together and lose weight and feel confident in my body before summer ever gets here? Maybe what comes up for you is shame, because when you're in perimenopause or menopause, your hormones, they are all over the place. You feel like you can no longer control your body weight. You've been able to do it most of your life, but now here you are in midlife doing what feels like all of the right things, and nothing is moving the needle. And maybe what comes up is embarrassment. My students say this to me a lot. I've given up. I've let myself go. They say those exact words. These are real feelings, and I feel them with you. I have felt them in my own life. So here's what changes that conversation that's going on in your mind. When you are thinking those thoughts and feeling those feelings, you are sending a signal to your body and to your brain that it's just not safe to make changes right now. Let me say that one more time. The thoughts and feelings you have are signaling your nervous system that change is not safe right now. We've talked about this before on the podcast, but your brain has a few jobs. One of those is to keep you safe, but another is to conserve your energy. Your brain is constantly running this calculation of, well, is it worth the effort? Should I expend resources on this? So when your brain looks ahead at the summer and sees, oh, it's only a few weeks away, and it hears you thinking, nope, it's too late for me to lose any weight. It's too late for me to fit into a swimsuit. your brain goes, okay, cool. We're just not going to do it. We're just stopping now, even before you get started. Because your brain, it's smart. It knows that making real meaningful changes, it takes some effort. It takes work. And your brain especially does not want to put in that effort if it's not even sure that the effort will pay off. I mean, let's be honest. How many times have you tried to lose weight and not lost anything at all? Or you lost it and then you gained it all back and then some? Your brain remembers all of that. Your brain, it has the receipts. There's a time you committed to working out 5 days a week and you made it through barely 1 week and life got in the way. Or that time you tried counting macros and you barely pushed through it for 5 days. The supplement that you bought that promised everything but delivered literally nothing. Your brain has logged every single one of those experiences as evidence that you can't do it or that weight loss just won't work for you. So now, when summer is coming and you're thinking about trying again, your brain runs those numbers. And the numbers say, you know what, the last time we did this, it cost a lot of energy and we ended up right back where we started. Why would we sign up for that again, especially right now with only a few weeks left until summer? So essentially, your brain is giving you a hall pass. It's giving you an out. It's saying, you know what? I don't want to put in all that effort. And the easiest way for me to get out of putting in that effort is to convince you that it's just too late. Too late to make changes, too late to lose weight, too late to do anything meaningful before summer. But here's the problem with that kind of hall pass. The hall pass leaves you in the exact same place that you are today. Overweight, disappointed, embarrassed, hiding under that cover up, repeating the same exact loop summer after summer after summer. So just understanding what is happening, what your brain is doing and why, that's half the battle. Because once you can see it and you're aware of it, you can actually do something about it. And like I said, there is something you can do about it. So the solution here, it does require a little bit of work, but the payoff is being able to enjoy your entire summer, feeling confident in a swimsuit, even if it's with a cover up sometimes, and not getting to the end of August feeling like, oh, I just wasted yet another year on the exact same cycle. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to slowly step into a version of your summer self who can hold two things at the same time. First, acceptance for who and where you are today. And second, the belief that you can change. Both at the same time, not one or the other, but both. So let's talk about the acceptance piece first, because I think this is a harder one for most of the women that I work with. Now, when I say acceptance, what I mean is accepting that in midlife, your body is going to change. Your hormones are dysregulated. They are shifting constantly. And that has a direct, measurable impact on your scale weight. On top of that, you're probably not sleeping all that well. You're maybe managing more stress than you used to at work. Maybe your family stress is at an all-time high. And all of that stress means more cortisol. And more cortisol also impacts the number on the scale. There are absolutely things you can do to support your body through all of this. And we talk about them on the podcast all the time. But the reality is that perimenopause and menopause are going to impact every single woman on this planet. There's no skipping it. There's no opting out. You have to accept that you need to do things differently than you did in your 20s or your 30s. And your body, it might look different. And none of that is a reflection on who you are or what you are capable of or your worth as a human being. I have to bring this up because it comes up frequently with my students inside of the method. The women I work with are high achievers. They have built these amazing careers. They've raised beautiful families. They are the person that everyone turns to when something needs to get done. So the very last thing they want is to be seen as someone who can't figure out how to take care of their own health and wellness. So they resist this acceptance piece really hard because to them, Accepting just where they are, it feels like admitting defeat. It feels like saying, I am so inadequate. But that's not what acceptance is. Acceptance is just saying, this is the season that I'm in. This is what's true for my body right now, today. I don't have to like it, but I do have to acknowledge it, because if I don't, I can't do anything about it. Acceptance is also the thing that takes the shame out. Because as long as you're standing in that fitting room under those fluorescent lights thinking, this is happening because I'm totally failing. This is happening because I'm lazy or I'm not motivated or something is wrong with me. Then it's impossible to make a clear decision about what to do next. You're too busy beating yourself up to actually do some problem solving. When you can drop into acceptance and say, oh, this is happening because my body is in a completely different hormonal landscape than it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And what worked back then doesn't work now. That's a totally different starting point. From there, you can actually look around and figure out what to do. Now, the second thing that you have to hold at the same time as acceptance is the belief that you can change. And the changes that I'm talking about do not have to be these huge sweeping overhauls of your entire life. They should be smaller, more specific shifts. It might look like pivoting to anti-inflammatory nutrition, building your plate around foods that work with a perimenopausal body instead of against it. It might look like lifting heavier weights in your workouts, not adding more cardio, not punishing yourself with longer workouts, but just actually getting stronger. It might look like saying no to alcohol because you already know that you don't recover from a glass of wine the way that you used to. And honestly, it just doesn't even feel that great anymore. It might look like bringing your own food to a potluck or a barbecue or a summer party, not because you're being weird about your food, but because you're just confident that supporting your body with the foods that actually serve you is going to get you to the goals that you want. There's a student inside the method who started doing this, and I just love this so much. She brings a big, beautiful, but anti-inflammatory salad to share when there's a neighborhood barbecue or a potluck, because she knows that she can eat all of it. And it also supports her weight loss and her wellness goals. And here's the best part. That salad that she brings, it's really becoming one of the top hits at her neighborhood barbecues. People actually look forward to it. So this is the kind of small change that ends up making a huge difference. Not because the salad itself is magic, but because she made a decision that supported her body. She felt good about it, and her belief in herself got a little stronger because of it. These are real, doable changes, and they're the kind of changes that move the needle for women in midlife. So the goal here is to be able to hold the acceptance and the belief at the same time. I am where I am, and I am going to make some changes anyway. I want to tell you about a student of mine inside of the method. So before Heather joined the program, she told me that she was thinking about waiting until summer to actually get started on the program. She had a work trip coming up, and a couple of weeks after that, there was a vacation planned with her girlfriends. And she just figured, you know what? I'll just wait until all of that's behind me, and then I'll really commit. I encouraged Heather to do exactly what I'm asking you to do right now. Hold the acceptance that this is what her life looks like, with the trips, the obligations, the schedule that was already in motion. And at the same time, hold the belief that she could start making changes right now, even with all the trips on her calendar. She decided to jump in, and then off she went on the work trip, where her schedule, it was inconsistent. And her food was honestly whatever she could get, wherever she should get it. So not exactly a clean, tidy environment to be starting a weight loss program. But do you know what happened? Between her work trip and her girls' trip, Heather lost 4 pounds. 4 pounds with a chaotic work trip in the middle of it, while still living her actual life with all of the things that were already on her calendar. Here's the lesson I want you to pull from this story. Heather, she did not have to overhaul her life to make meaningful progress. She didn't have to cancel trips. She didn't have to wait for some perfect, clear, empty calendar to get started. She just had to accept where she was and believe that she could start anyway. So let me bring this back to you, sitting where you are right now. You're probably not going to lose 20 or 30 pounds before summer gets here. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that would even be on the table for anybody in a few short weeks. That's not the goal. The goal is to start moving toward the version of yourself that you actually want to be and to stop repeating the same loop next summer and the summer after that and the summer after that. Acceptance plus belief is what breaks that loop, because when you can sit with where you are and at the same time choose to do something different, you give your nervous system the signal that it's okay, it's safe to change. And once that signal is there, the rest of the work, it's so much easier. So I want you to imagine yourself, the end of August, looking back on this summer. And instead of that exact same disappointment you felt last year and the year before, you can look back and say, you know what? I didn't get to my dream body in 6 weeks, but I did something different this year. I made some real changes. I lost a few pounds. I felt better in my swimsuit. I didn't spend the whole summer hiding in a cover-up. I started something I'm actually going to keep going. I started something that I'm actually going to keep doing. That is so different from where you were going to land if your brain got to keep telling you that it's too late story. That version of summer is so much better than the alternative. Now, if all of this sounds really good to you, but you're sitting there going, great, Ashley, but how do I actually do this? How do I actually learn how to hold both of these things at the same time on a Wednesday morning when I'm looking at myself in the mirror and facing a really long day ahead and my pants are too tight? This is exactly what I teach inside the Perimenopause Weight Loss Method. This is my 8-week high-touch program for women in midlife who are ready to lose their first 15 pounds and actually keep it off this time. You do that by learning how to accept who you are today, and at the same time, looking at the specific changes that you can make right now that will move you toward the future version of yourself that you want to be. And yes, you can absolutely jump in before summer gets here. That is the point. You don't have to wait until the trips are over or your calendar clears. You can start exactly where you are today. If you want to find out if the method is the right fit for you, your next step is to book a call with me. We'll jump on Zoom together. I learn about where you are and what you want, and we figure out together if this would be your next step. If you want to book a call, I'll put a link in the show notes. My sweet friend, I want this summer to feel different for you. I want you to walk out to the pool or the beach or on the cruise ship or whatever with more confidence than you walked into this episode with. Not because your body is suddenly perfect, because that is not how it works, but because you finally know what to actually do with the brain and the nervous system and the body that you have right now. It is not too late. Your brain is just trying to tell you it is because that's an easier story. But I challenge you to choose a little bit harder story because you will get a much better outcome. Thanks for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you back here next week on The Family Fork. Thanks for listening to the Family Fork podcast. I hope today left you inspired and equipped with something tangible that you can put into action today. Remember, success is so much more than just gathering information. You have to put it into action. If this episode resonated with you, here's how you can help the show reach even more midlife moms. Hit follow, share it with a friend who's struggling in midlife too, and if you're feeling generous, leave us a review. Your thoughtful review helps other listeners discover these conversations when they need them the most. This show has become even more than I could have imagined, and it's because of loyal listeners like you who show up and share. You are helping to build this community and movement that will inspire midlife moms for years to come. For show notes, links, and resources, head to ashleymalik.com/podcast. Keep striving for the healthy, energized life that you deserve.